World Championship season in history, 21 races, new stops, new adventures in Kazakhstan and in India, 21 rounds, 42 races. This is race 2 of 42, 777 points up for grabs in this year's MotoGP World Championship. We could have a world champion crowned amassing more than 600 points, maybe even more in this year's world title fight. Tyres always play a significant role. They certainly did in the sprint.
And hard fronts. The riders that have gone for the hard front tyre are the 4 Aprilias, the 3 remaining KTMs on the grid, and the Marquez brothers, Marc and Alex. Everyone else has gone for the medium front tyre. Everyone has gone for the medium rear tyre.
Bagnaia took the Rider Glory. The Catalanovo were team champions. Ducati dominated the Constructor Championship. Independent team champions, independent rider champions, and for good measure, Marco Bezzecchi was the Rookie of the Year. They have the Rider to Bagnaia back in 2021. It's today the day that Barron Run ends. Green flag waves at the back. We're all set to go here in Portugal in the full-length feature race. Marc Marquez got away really well from pole position. Bagnaia gets squeezed by both. I thought it was a touch. I think there was contact. Marquez was super aggressive on the inside of Oliveira Martin into turn number 3. He picked up Oliveira. I'm not sure if Martin and Marquez did actually touch each other there going through that turn 3. Oliveira,
Quartararo outside of the points in 16th.
Well, he had a problem with the launch control yesterday, didn't he? As soon as he clicked second gear, the bike just did not drive forwards. Let's hope they rectified that. But Fabio Quartararo, as Lewis mentioned, had another absolute nightmare up at turn 10. This is where the GP history. But Oliveira making the early running here. Martin second. Bagnaia regrouped after he got pinched off the line. He was squeezed in between both Marquez and Martin. He just had to momentarily roll off the throttle. But we're on board now with the world champion through this 5th gear.
But Aleix Espargaro, another big loser off the line. He's down into 14th. Bagnaia, though, does get through at the end of the main straight on Martin.
What a boost this is as well, isn't it, for Aprilia now? They had such a wretched 2022 with Andrea Dovizioso and Darren Binder struggling on the saddle at one point. Frankie Morbidelli as well, his Yamaha teammate, is last, 20th place. This has been an absolute nightmare for Yamaha to kick off this full-length Grand Prix in Portugal.
Call one of the VR46 Ducatis going way wide into turn 5. It looked like Luke Martin quickly up behind him.
Yeah, Bagnaia's gone for it into the first gear, turn number 13. It was tight, but he made it move in there. That was nicely done by Pecco Bagnaia. Now then, at the front of this Grand Prix already, coming to the conclusion of lap 2, Pecco Bagnaia leads.
It's a picture. He's coming under increasing pressure from Fabio Quartararo. Here is that battle. We're on board with the 2021 world champion. The battle for 9th place. Quartararo did a 39.058 on the last lap. His personal best lap of the Grand Prix. Jorge Martin, of course, recovered.
These two have got form around this Portimao circuit. This is a really good fight. Can't take your eyes off this one, as Alex Marquez has a bit of a moment on the rear tyre there at full lean angle through turn number 15, as that cost him a bit of momentum, but he just absolutely...
Quartararo now through into 9th place, but how soul-destroying will that be for Jack Miller? Alex Marquez didn't even need the slipstream down the pit straight, so perhaps Miller will have to rethink his approach, because if he overtakes into turn 13, he's not able to get far enough up the road to be clear of attack down.
It's Alex Marquez from Binder, Miller, Zarco and Aleix Espargaro right in the heat of that battle as well. Here is Fabio Quartararo then on the Yamaha, on the inside of Luca Marini. Well, that's beautifully done. Nice corner speed through the first corner. We're all that 4th place. Jorge Martin, there's no podium double then on the opening weekend of 2023 for him. He was involved in those 2 early clashes with Marc Marquez and Miguel Oliveira. And this time around, well, that was all of his own doing, wasn't it? As he...
Last lap, Vinales is throwing everything he can at the reigning world champion, but that lead, 9/10 of a second, that's just enough of a comfort zone at the moment. Look how close the KTMs are getting as Brad Binder nearly runs into the back of his teammate. In fact, Brad Binder is ahead of Jack Miller. We're on board with a...
Turn 5 down the hill. Aleix Espargaro now sweeps on through. This is more Moto3, isn't it, than MotoGP? Through turn 7 now. They'll come through turn 8. Got to be gentle on the power here, squeezing it on, not to try and get too much wheelie over this crest. The blind drop. GP's ultimate Sunday man is starring again, isn't he, when it really matters. Binder into a heroic 4th place. Sensational stop from the South African.
Can he hold off Marquez down the main straight, though? That Ducati, once it gets into its stride.
And for the very first time in this Grand Prix, then, Pecco Bagnaia is a full second ahead of Vinales into the braking zone for turn number 1. Alex Marquez just clicks the turbo button, doesn't he? Nothing that Brad Binder could do about that. It's just Binder Miller, Aleix Espargaro, Zarco, Quartararo, Marini, all in contention. This is going to be 6 or 7 riders, top riders in the world, that are scrapping out here for 4th spot. Bagnaia, as we just mentioned,
in addition to the KTMs and Aleix Espargaro, so they're all on the same option as Zarco now attacks on Aleix Espargaro. That will have caught the Spaniard by surprise. Zarco now moves through into 7th and cuts the nose off the Aprilia.
Yellow flags are out in sector 3. Whose was painful experience for him and for Enea Bastianini in particular. The beast rolled out with a broken shoulder blade. I think that's the 4th crash of the weekend for Luca Marini. I don't think he dumped it that many times the whole of 2022, Lewis.
Well, he hadn't failed to finish a race, and far from over. This is going to go right the way down to the finish, and Aleix Espargaro reclaims 7th place.
Proper good old-fashioned lunge, that, wasn't it, from Aleix on the inside of Zarco into turn 3. Full respect, though, to Zarco. He's climbed off his sickbed to make the start of this Grand Prix. Here at top 6s. He'd have certainly wanted to run his teammate Maverick Vinales a little bit closer. But Vinales still looking well set for a safe second. I don't think now Vinales, having not been able to recover that 1 second back to Bagnaia, is going to stop. Although it looks like at the moment, Lewis, picture perfect for Bagnaia. There were 37 points up for grabs in the new format, and it looks like, as it stands right now, he's taking the lot.
It is. He's withstood that early pressure from Maverick Vinales, who was right on his rear tyre. He was able to pull out that advantage on the main straight. We've got 2 laps to go of this Grand Prix, and if anything, it looks as if Espargaro is shaping up for a move on Jack Miller as they now close in to turn 3. Marquez, Binder, Miller, Espargaro, Zarco, and Quartararo all battling for.
It just looks like Zarco's having a bit of an issue stopping that Pramac Ducati down into turn 5. I don't know whether perhaps he's just running into a few front tyre gremlins. More yellow flags out in sector 2. We know it's not the race leader Pecco Bagnaia. Ralph Fernandez in
their personal squabble for 7th and 8th place. It's advantage Zarco once again. The KTM's climbing all over Alex Marquez. He'll be desperate to see the checkered flag. So too will Fabio Quartararo, because he's now picked off Aleix Espargaro, who's going backwards on this penultimate lap. Precious
per second. Why would he? Because there's a absolutely stunning 4th place up for grabs here. We're on the last lap here in the Tissot Grand Prix of Portugal, and it looks like Pecco Bagnaia will make the perfect start to the defence of his crown, although Maverick Vinales
again down the main straight. Binder lost out to Marquez, and Miller lost out to Zarco, who's now shaping up for a potential move and taking 5th place. That might be all she wrote for Alex Marquez. If he can get onto the main straight in 4th place, he'll keep it.
Another 10th game by Vinales in Marquez. It looks like it might be Ducati versus Ducati, KTM versus KTM for that 4th spot. At the moment, it's in the hands of Alex Marquez. You can see, though, Pecco Bagnaia in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Oh, that was tight, really tight. Zarco leans on. Formula 1 boss Stefano Domenicali has the honour of waving the checkered flag. Ducati dominance again in 2023. Davide Tardozzi, he is super pumped with an absolutely phenomenal weekend lap. It's Johan Zarco that does take 4th place. Boy, did he have to work hard for that one. Involved in an absolute classic scrap with Alex Marquez, who was 5th. Brad Binder, somehow, with his physical condition, does take 6th. Miller say it felt like the sprint had all the hallmarks of a statement of intent. It does not get any better than that, does it? What a way to start 2023 for that young man. Already got that number 1 place.
Muscles in that Grand Prix, didn't he? So too did Ducati. A maximum haul from the opening Grand Prix weekend of the season for Pecco Bagnaia. Aprilia will take good confidence and morale from that. Vinales in 2nd place. They certainly showed their pace in the Zarco, certainly leaving it late in that Grand Prix. With 2 or 3 laps to go, he was battling with Aleix Espargaro over 7th and 8th, and suddenly picked them off at will to snatch 4th on the final lap.
And as he mentioned, he's been so sick all weekend as well. Notice it in the print of 7/10 of a second at the checkered flag. But he gave his all. Steady on, Pecco. Our first mistake he's made all weekend. Apart from that crash at turn 1, but certainly on race day here today. Coming into the season,
championship that it is to win it in the first place, but such a pressure release from the shoulders of Pecco Bagnaia after that comeback in the second half of last season. He's just got everything how he wants it. Ducati have the motorcycle exactly where they want it, which wasn't the case in the early.
For Buenos Aires, not sure whether Ducati will opt to replace Enea Bastianini next weekend. They do get grace, they don't have to replace him next weekend. Of course, Michele Pirro would be a more than adequate substitute.
Due giri di
Oh, madre de Dios.
Speriamo che stia bene.
Mamma mia.
Due giri di fila così.
The corner 3 was difficult, because you break in banking and the front always make
But
front
the
lock.
problem was the windows.
Oh, you were
Madre
close.
mía.
You were
Yes,
close.
I break earlier because